Bill, what would you say to an actor that's in the wonderful position of being offered paying roles, but then there's that catch, there's that sort of problem of prosperity where all those people that knew you as the great actor that could do things for free, for the love of it, now know that you're a working actor and there's a cost?
This is probably the most difficult transition that I've had to go through in the past year. You do work for free when you come here, and because you just want to rack up IMDb credits, you work for very low pay. You take as many jobs as you can get, but if you stay here long enough and you're able to survive, you will reach a point where you have to surrender some of that control to your representation. And you have to trust your representation enough so that if they say you're not going to be in this project, you say no to the project. You become an offer actor. I have less auditions now. It doesn't mean that I don't have to try. It just means that now my roles come more through relationships than through cold auditions than they used to. Because people have somewhat of an awareness of who you are, but it's very difficult when someone comes to you who you've had a prior relationship with at a very, very low rate, and they come to you with a project, and you have to say, please speak to my representation. You know, I'm glad that we're friends, and I love working with you, but talk to my representation. That's a big step, especially if you've come here as a do-it-yourselfer, and you've worked very hard to get to that level. And then they speak to your representation, and they may call you and say, Karen, I can't believe that I'm being talked to this way. I've heard that. And what they mean by, I can't believe I'm being talked to this way, is, I can't believe that your representation is asking for a fair rate of pay. And they'll say things like, well, it's coming out of pocket. Well, everything comes out of pocket. You know,
nonprofit.
This is business, and this is what I do for a living. And at some point, and this is the hardest thing for an actor to do, because we're all needy, is to say, I have a skill, I have a certain set of skills that I can do on camera. I have something I can bring to your production, and I want to bring it to your production, but you have to pay me to do it, just as people have to pay you to do your job. You don't ask a plumber to work for free. And I know that actors have to work for free, but as soon as you can stop doing that, stop. Because it's a bad habit, and it's not going to bode well for your future, and your representation won't like it. And when you reach a certain point, you depend on that representation.
Well, what if someone says to you, oh, this is a passion project. We're all here out of the love of it, and we're a nonprofit, and everyone else is doing it for free.
And if everyone else is doing it for free, then everyone else must be rich, and I'm not. You know, I don't have steaks in the freezer. This is a business. There is room for passion, but at some point, the movie is going to be released. Let's say I want to hire you, and it comes down to an additional $100. Silly example, but it comes down to 100. And you want that $100, and I'm saying no. So I got to stop and think, is Karen going to bring an additional $100 value to my project? That's 10 DVD sales. Is it likely that in the world, 10 human beings will buy my movie more because Karen's in it? If not, you don't need to be in it. But the answer is probably yes, if I approached you in the first place. So both sides on the negotiating table have to be smart. You can't insult the other person. But this is a business, and actors do this for a living. It's my passion, but it's also my living. I'm a stock. And if a stock gets to a certain point, there's no shareholder that wants to say, well, let's lower the value. Because then you'll never get back to the value that you were. I know it sounds cold and hard and even passionless, but if the deal is worked and I actually get on set, I pour my passion into it. But my passion is not for working for free. That's not the way to build a career.
Do you think people realize that when you approach someone for pay and then you try to kind of retract and say, hey, is there any way we could do sort of a barter type of a thing, that sours it even more?
I think so, yeah. It's just a matter of respect. I've had actors say, offer me gas money. At least that. At least that. It's just showing respect to the actor. Yeah, I think so. And you look at the level that the actor's at too. What projects have they worked on recently? Do they actually bring value to their project? If they don't, fine, work for free or don't be in my movie. But if you have actually approached an actor and made an offer, and then their representation comes back to you and says, that's not enough, what can you do? Don't be pissy about it. Negotiate. It's like any other business. I'm buying a car. I'm not going to pay the sticker price, but you're not going to let me walk off the lot for $2,000 either. We're going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I have noticed that what seems to be different in this business, at least on an independent film level, is some people don't want to do the back and forth. They don't like the process of negotiation because they just want to make the passion project, and so do I. But you never get to that unless you can negotiate. Again, it's looking at it as a business.
So friendships, let's say they then come back to you and say, I can't believe your representation spoke to me like that.
And people do.
How do you handle that without hurting their feelings and losing the friendship?
Do I owe them a favor or not? Because if I owe them a favor, then I'm going to call my representation and say, you know, I need to repay this favor. Can we work it out to do this project? But if I don't owe them a favor and they call me and say, your representation has hurt my feelings, then I'll say my representation is not me, and you're not hiring me, your friend. You're hiring Bill Oberst Jr., who is a commodity that I've spent 4 years busting my ass to build up. And that's what that commodity, that's what the current market value of that commodity is. I'm still Billy. I'm still your friend. But it's hard to make that separation sometimes.